The other day, I was discussing the future of the GOP with some fellow classmates, which is, typical teenage stuff. Now, they knew a lot about most issues, ranging from immigration to healthcare to national defense. But what I was surprised to find out was that they weren't very familiar with the individual politicians who shared their beliefs. I mentioned both Bobby Jindal and Marco Rubio, both of whom I consider to be prominent conservatives, but they had no idea who I was talking about. But when I made a comparison to some fictional superheroes, I think they began to get a better picture of who they were. In the Avengers, Captain America felt like a second-rate superhero. He seemed like he was only shown a few times because the writers felt compelled to show how good he was as a leader by giving him painful lines like, "Stark, we need a plan for attack." In that sense, I would say Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal fits this character perfectly. He's the chair of the GOP Governors Association, so he's pretty much the top governor who is a conservative in America, yet still yearns for the national spotlight. His failed 2009 response to the State of the Union failed miserably and is still trying to find a sure footing. The same reason that Tony Stark provided comic relief in the Avengers, I feel that the Hulk provided the director of the Avengers to choreograph some pretty awesome fight scenes, with his Hulk smash and the way that he gets angry easily. His lines were like when there's like "That's my secret. I always get angry," and he the camera pans away and he walks slow mo, but slow mo into the distance and tackles the enemy head on. And I think that one politician is relatable to this character. 2 words: Joe Biden. His best rage? The 2012 vice presidential debate when he went off against Paul Ryan. Next up is Thor, who I thought was the more serious component of the Avengers, and his equivalent in politics would be someone who appears every once in a generation with his kind of brute honesty and no nonsense demeanor. And this is without a doubt New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, because he's known for his aggressive retorts. He's controversial without being controversial. He's not purposefully partisan, and he's the type of character who appears in politics every once in a generation for sure. Hawkeye was the character that was unnecessary, the third wheel. His superpower, he definitely wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the smartest, he wasn't, whatever kind of trait the other superheroes embodied. I felt that the writers, literally said, "Oh, let's include Hawkeye. He's gonna be like a dark, gritty Batman, Legolas. He's gonna be badass." Because on paper he looks great. He's got a good background story, and it really is an intriguing concept, including some kind of like medieval type weapons in a very futuristic kind of world, bows and arrows. There's one moment where it's pretty cool, where he jumps off a building and shoots some enemy, and while doing like a Matrix 360 degree slow motion, zooms in on the arrow, but otherwise I think that he wasn't entirely necessary, and I think that this honor would go to Rick Perry, although it's rather not an honor, but kind of like a normal title. Finally, we have Iron Man, which is probably the hardest character to compare with any individual politician because of his rogue nature, his charismatic personality, and his clutch nature when he saves the day with his throwing that bomb into the universe, which was kind of like a callback to the Star Wars Death Star, right? Or maybe I was the only one who made that connection, but the point is, I feel that his marketing ability for audiences, his close association with kind of he's kind of like the anchor character that people like. Man, this is hard, but I would say his traits are most representative in if I had to pick Nancy Pelosi. Okay, I'm not sure if that was a very good comparison, but oh well. No, but seriously, Nancy Pelosi is in the public eye a lot, and is, not too much of a controversial character, but is also very, very instrumental in passing legislation in Congress. You probably noticed that I included both Democrats and Republicans in this elite team, and some characters have had gaffes on the campaign trail. So, but the point is, even though you might hold certain stereotypes against some of the politicians that I mentioned, they combine their views and they need to overcome their differences in order to achieve a common goal, which is to move America forward in a positive direction that helps the majority of Americans. And I honestly believe that this is completely possible, but not with the current media bias and unnecessary stereotyping. For example, pundits get off the hook pretty easily, but sometimes they take very trivial things like Senator Rubio's water moment, where he drank some water during his Republican response and blew it out of proportion, and therefore alienating Americans from the real serious issues. So yeah, that's something to think about. And the next time that you see these politicians in the news, hopefully you'll think of the Avengers and their potential to save the day. All right, that's all the time I have for today. See you next Thursday at 5 p.m. for my next segment. And remember, this is EricL, and thank you for tuning in.